unstoppable kick-ass confidence. Are you ready?
Welcome to the Raw and Unscripted show with Christopher Rausch, where we help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. Now please welcome our host, Christopher Rausch.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Raw and Unscripted show with yours truly, Christopher Rausch, the place where I help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Beautiful day to you wherever you are at the world. We are in 30 plus countries, so thank you guys. And right now, I just want to say thank you to China and Hong Kong. Those are one of my biggest markets right now, which is really surprising. Of course, the USA, Canada, Germany, Britain, all of those are up there as well. So thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're watching live on the video cast or you're listening to us on the audio podcast. Thank you for being here every single week. We've been doing this now for 6.5 years. We're on episode 333. So when you think about that, I do this probably for about an hour. And a lot of times I've had guests over the years. And so you think that's 333 hours of education, of entertainment, of broadcasts that are designed to make you think. And tonight is especially true. It actually pains me and scares me a little bit to be thinking about this episode tonight and having this conversation because the world is changing. What's up, Robert? Let me know if you can hear me. I guess you can hear me because you just said China has the world's largest middle class in the world. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you for tuning in. I wasn't sure if I was having technical difficulties here, so thank you for being here. Let me know you can hear me well, because again, Facebook was having some glitches earlier, so I'm not sure if we're actually appearing on Facebook. Yeah, we're actually on Facebook. So we are always on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere. We're on Spotify, iHeart, anywhere you get podcasts, anywhere you can imagine getting videos. I'm there. All you have to do is actually Google #NoExcusesCoach, and you will find me on people's shows. You will find me everywhere. So if you're not already on the YouTube page, do me a favor and support that. I do this all myself. And I'm just going to be totally transparent with you. Tonight, we're talking about how the world's changing and AI and everything else. But I follow a lot of really leading podcasters in the world, and they have production teams and editing and all this stuff. It's a huge machine. And what I'm finding is that people just want this. They just want raw and unscripted. They want vulnerability. They want simplicity. And I've been bringing this to you guys for 6.5 years. So you're going to find that people are going to be doing more raw and unscripted stuff. I got famous from doing my walk and talk videos where I just grabbed my phone and I would talk and it would move and it wasn't on a gimbal. And people would reach out to me and say, man, your walk and talk is just fucking really hit me. And I wouldn't even craft it. I wouldn't even think about it. I would do it for 15 minutes. And now people are doing these walk and talk videos. So I just share that with you because no matter where you are in life, no matter where you are in this beautiful journey, I encourage you to have a sense of curiosity, a sense of playfulness, a sense of wonderment about the world and how it's coming to be. So I'm going to share some stuff with you tonight, today, tomorrow, wherever it is that you guys are absorbing this content. And I don't want this to be a scary show, but I feel in my heart of hearts that I need to bring this message to you. And now I just want to qualify this. I don't watch the news. I don't follow politics. I used to be a news junkie. I used to be a political junkie way back in the day, probably about 10, 15 years ago. But I decided that I didn't want to be yelling at the television anymore. I decided I didn't want to be frustrated at shit that I wasn't changing. But what I've done, because I have an 8-year-old son, is I keep dipping my toe into what's going on in the world. And I'm not saying that I bury my head in the sand because I don't want to deal with it and I don't want to be a part of the solution. You guys know me better than that. But I also protect my mental health. And I know that if I'm sitting there watching the news and politics and CNBC and CNN and Fox and all that fucking crazy shit, I'm not going to be the best version of myself that I could possibly be. And so there is going to be a lot of stuff I'm going to share with you tonight, and it's all from the heart. This is not political. I have my political opinions. I have my beliefs on where the world is going, and I'm going to do the best I can do to still remain that voice of impartiality, right? You know, people tell me that, like, I don't know if you're a Trump supporter, not a Trump supporter, da, 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 da. I will tell you this. I am not happy with the way the world is right now. So the leaders that are in place, I'm very concerned because I don't feel like they always have our best interest at heart. So I will just say that, but this isn't about politics. I titled tonight's show, for those of you guys who just are tuning in and listening to this, I titled tonight's show, Why Normal is Gone Forever and What to Do About It. And I can tell you this, people since COVID have been saying, man, I just wanted to go back to normal, or the world doesn't seem the same since COVID, blah, 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 blah. I want certainty. Ladies and gentlemen, certainty is a fallacy, right? Certainty and comfort and all that stuff, that doesn't get you growing. That doesn't make a difference. That doesn't give you a life that when you go to sleep at night, you feel proud about, right? You don't feel that. So what we're going to be talking about, how you can get used to being uncomfortable, how the old world isn't coming back. Most importantly, adaptability, ladies and gentlemen, is the new superpower. And you really have to lead yourself first. And so I given these shows are usually raw and unscripted, but these shows recently, I've been putting some more thought into them and not scripting them out, but giving myself bullet points just to make sure that I'm giving you the best possible value for your attention, because that's the commodity right now. Whether you're an entrepreneur, I know entrepreneurs listen to me. I know business owners listen to me. I know people in corporate listen to me. So when I think about this, I think that we're going to have to lead ourselves out of these situations. So I encourage you, whether you're live or on the replay watching the video cast, feel free to ask me any questions. I get people that ask me questions on the replay, on the video cast, and I still go back and answer them. I'll private message them. Of course, I'll always answer in the comments. So feel free tonight, or when you're watching this, to hit me up with a question, because I know that people have a lot of questions out there, and I am going to attempt to bring you the answers. And I'm really going to attempt to bring you things to think about and a different perspective about life. So I'm going to give you some statistics, and then these statistics are not, again, designed to scare you. We have the opportunity within ourselves to choose our perspective. And I'm going to invite you tonight to not look at things with a sense of fear or a sense of dread, but a sense of excitement. How can I be excited about the things that are going on? Because here's the nut of it. Nothing we can do, the worrying and the bitching and the complaining and the hoping and the wishing and all that stuff, isn't going to change things. And I've had to waken myself up to the reality that no, it's not going to be like it was. And no, it's not going to be like when I grew up. And the world is shifting faster than it's ever shifted before. And if you're a historian, I think, Robert, you're into history, you could go back and look at how the world has different cycles. And I don't agree with these cycles. Every 70 years we go into this, da, da, da. For me, I think that's bullshit. I don't believe we have to repeat the same cycles over and over again, especially in our own personal life. But it is what it is. You guys have heard me say those words. It is what it is. Technology and things are coming. So I'm going to give you some statistics that are designed to create leverage. That's what it's about tonight. It's about creating leverage for you, creating leverage for me, because I'll be honest, everything I'm saying and everything that I'm reading out of my notes is for me too. And I will tell you this, I'm scared, I'm worried, I am frustrated. There are all sorts of things. But at the end of the day, I have to be excited. I have to be excited. Like, where's the technology going? Where are things going? What are the opportunities and the advancements for my kid? Not that I want it to be safe, not that I want it to be certain, but I will tell you this, it's all going to change for everyone. It's all going to change for everyone. And we have to have some tough, I'm not fucking kidding. We have to have some very, 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 very difficult, tough, vulnerable conversations with our family, with our friends, with our kids, with our community at large. So I'm going to share this with you. Thank you guys all for being here. Andrew Rimkus, what's up? He says, Joe, let us get up and go. Just bro, let us get up and go. Yeah, we're getting going. Robert says leverage does come in handy. We got Jacqueline Rose in the house. Thank you guys all for being here. Appreciate it. So here are some statistics. 30% of US jobs could be fully automated by 2030, and 60% will see significant task changes thanks to AI integration. And this is according to National University. Globally, AI may displace around 300 million jobs. 300 million jobs. This is reality, guys. This is reality. I did not want to face this, so we're in this together. 300 million jobs, especially in routine task-based roles. Yeah. So think about it. AI, robots, they're coming. And I will tell you the three main disruptors in the world that's going on right now. Number one, artificial intelligence technology. Number two, climate change. If you think the earth is flat, fuck all the way off. There's proof that it's round, and there's proof that there's other things going on. So if you hold tight that there's nothing going on with climate change, I invite you to do some more research. So climate change, AI, and the last thing is, however you want to talk about it, I labeled it here biotech in health and genes. So the biotech with AI and what's going on with our health and genes. I read recently, I don't remember exactly the site, but they are able to replicate a steak. They can grow a steak. You know what you eat? Yum, yum, yum. They can regrow a steak from the genes, and they can do it in a petri dish. Yeah. So while things are crazy and uncertain, there's an excitement that potentially, if it's up to you, if you want, that maybe we can start living to 140, 160. So if you're 50 years old, 60 years old, 30 years old, wherever you're at, there's an opportunity with the technology that we can live longer. So you might just be starting out. I'm 56 right now. So I'm excited that there's a possibility that if I was 20 starting all over again, what would I do differently? How would I use my intelligence and everything that I've gained in the last 30 years to my advantage? So we might just be starting out, guys. But here's the thing. We have to lead ourselves. So here, I'm going to give you some more information. So fasten your seatbelts, put your diapers on, whatever you might want to do. 41% of employers plan to downsize their workforce due to AI. And in the US, that figure bumps up to 48%, signaling a serious shift in how companies work. It's already happening. I see my friends on TikTok. I see my friends at Facebook working for government agencies, working for the support agencies for the government, and it all trickles down, and those people are losing their jobs and they're losing their careers at a steadfast rate. There's also the problem with ageism. I'm 56 years old. I used to be in a corporate position. I will be honest with you, for a while after my corporate position was eliminated in 2019, I still tried to find a job, but I couldn't. And I was 50 at that point. Now I'm seeing a lot of my friends who are in fucking high positions and a lot of experience, a lot of diplomas and all these sort of certifications. They're not getting a job even after 18 months. They're not even getting their resumes seen. Right? So this is seriously fucked up. But again, it's up to us. You can either be a victim or you could be a victor. I'm just trying to keep it as simple and as impactful as possible. And here's what it says also. By 2025, this is right there, up to 83 million jobs may be eliminated while 69 million new roles emerge. So yes, there are things that are going away and there's also things that are coming in, just like any time in life, right? When you think about the internet, when you think about the .com era, when you think about all those different things in history, there were people who were able to take advantage of what was happening, and there were people who got sucked up and chewed up and spit out and unfortunately didn't make it. And I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy that's that dire, but there's going to be, I'm afraid and I'm fearful and I'm worried. This is why I'm doing this message, that people are going to suffer. And my thing, I don't care, white, black, straight, gay, Republican, Democrat, Trump, fucking vaccination, fucking Robert Kennedy, whatever you want to believe in, right? Tooth fairy, At the end of the day, we're all more the same than we're all different. And I don't want to see people hurt. I don't want to see people hurt, because if I walked in Robert's steps, or if I walked in Jacqueline's steps, or if I walked in Andrew's steps, or you guys walked in my steps, might you have the perspective that I have? If you lived in California, if you lived in New York, if you lived in Florida, if you lived in Texas, if you lived in the Bahamas, wherever it is that you might have grown up, and your culture and your religious beliefs and everything else that was going on has helped shape your perspectives. And so that doesn't make any of us wrong. It just makes it a journey, and it makes it an opportunity for us to stop right now and sit there and say, okay, what am I willing to do differently? How am I willing to look at my life differently? No matter where it is that we're at, whether we're retired, whether we're just young, I got people all over the gamut that listen to this show. So here's some other information. Let's get into the heart of what's going on. The call center industry. A lot of people work in guest services and The call center industry is transforming fast. AI is automating routine tasks, pushing human workers toward more complex, sensitive roles. And this is according to the AP News. It also says here, for tech watchers like blah, 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 the reality, AI could deepen inequality and eliminate human roles unless we wake up and act now. And so why do these numbers matter? I had to put these bullet points down because I just get overwhelmed at the information. Not tomorrow, but now. Many of these shifts are already happening, and it's not a distant threat. So just absorb that. Like, we're in the middle. People are on the East Coast are bracing for hurricanes and everything. There's a hurricane going on in all of us. But at the same time, I want to invite you to enjoy the simplicity of life and enjoy the moments. So there's a twofold message here. We want to be prepared and we want to have awareness and we don't want to get scared. We want to be proactive, but also at the same time, I can't predict what's going to happen in the next 5 hours. I don't know if California is going to have a fucking 11.0 earthquake and my house is going to crumble apart. I don't know if I'm a heart attack. I don't know if I'm going to get shot. I don't know anything. So I do live my life in the moments. I was just playing Rock Band with my son downstairs and it was fucking amazing, right? Just rocking out and singing our songs. And I knew I was going to come up here and do this heavy show and this deep show. So I wanted to do something to get my emotions and everything else in a positive way. And so why these numbers matter. Routine jobs are on the chopping block. Administration, customer service, production, right? Driving jobs. I was in Los Angeles recently. I live in Riverside here in Southern California, and we don't have a lot of technology yet. Los Angeles is about an hour away. I went there and there was driverless cars. There were little fucking carts on the street, little robots on the street delivering packages. It looked like something out of fucking the Jetsons. And I just was like, Mom, I was looking at my wife. I was like, look, oh my God, what's going on? Like, I wouldn't get in a driverless car because I'm old school. But the kids of today, they don't want to drive. They don't want a car. Things are changing. And so as adults, in whatever capacity we have in our life, we have to be a leader in our life. And we have to help those who might be trying to live in the past or ignore the reality of things. You can say, hey, well, listen, I watched this cat with a bandana that talked about this stuff, and you need to be informed. And so I put down here, the net picture is fixed. New jobs will emerge, but also will massive shifts. And that net gain doesn't mean your role is safe. Your risk getting left behind is if you don't adapt. So whether you work in tech, business, your own hustle, this affects every one of us. And I will even go on to say, people on disability, people on social security, every one of us must start asking ourselves some questions. At the end of this broadcast, I'm going to give you some questions to think about on your own, your homework, right? You know, you guys show up here every single week. I share some stuff and I give you assignments, because when you show up every single week and you do those things that I assign to you, your life changes, your confidence increases, right? And I'm doing this for free for you. Of course, you guys know I'm a life coach and I have a group coaching program, and all that stuff is there if you need it. And so I will share this with you. AI, ChatGPT. There is like what's up, Patricia? Thank you for joining us. Very important show tonight. I use ChatGPT in the producing of the show and also the creation of the show. And I will tell you this, again, being old school, I did not want to use AI. I'm not going to use ChatGPT. I feel like that's being lazy. I feel like I had all these ethics and rules in my head, and no, I want to be creative and da 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 da. And then I had to realize the crux of the conversation that we're having tonight. It's coming whether we want it or not. It's coming whether we want to adapt to it or not. And so I decided, you know what? Let me see what it's about. Let me not be judgmental of something that I'm not using. You know what I mean? A lot of people are out there judgmental for shit that they don't understand. And if you happen to be that, you might want to stop and say, hey, let me understand that better, right? Instead of judging it, instead of doing what my religion says and what the government tells me and what my parents told me, let me just stop and understand things for myself. So I use ChatGPT. I mean, there's different AI components, but the thing is, I want to stress this. The information is here, right? Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has a computer. You can go on and you can learn this stuff, and you can sit there and make it fun for yourself. Like, I'm going to go to school for the rest of my life, and I'm going to think about the things that I can incorporate in my life, because the tech is here to help us. And I know people in business processes who are utilizing the shit out of AI, and they're streamlining business processes. And of course, you know, unfortunately, it is part of what it is. You know, if I'm a business leader and I can use AI to replace staff, I mean, ethically, I probably wouldn't or would. But if I did that, I would find a way to help people in a different way. But so I use it. And once I started using it, I realized it wasn't a crutch. It wasn't like, oh, hey, chat, write my show promo. I write a show promo and then I put it in there and I'm like, hey, chat, how can you rewrite this so it's a little bit more impactful? How can you rewrite this so it's a little bit more emotional? How can you rewrite this so it's a little bit more sarcastic? How would you say this in 20 less words? So I'm using the technology to refine my message so I make sure I impact as many of you people as I possibly can. Time usages. I mean, I in my coaching program, I teach people how to use calendars, and there's all sorts of different things. There's IIFTT, which is if, then that. You can create these little business rules within apps. You can turn your lights on. You could do all sorts of stuff. You could be energy efficient with your home. I have a smart home that I've started adapting to, and it's weird and it's hard to figure out, but once you get it figured out, you don't have to figure it out again. And so let's get into this, because a large crux of this show was also thinking about, okay, I can't continue to put my head in the sand, because for me, it doesn't matter. I'm going to retire. I've got all sorts of things going on. But then I looked at my kid and I kept looking at him and I didn't want to face it. I'm like, God, what kind of world is he going to grow up in? Is he going to be able to have a job? Is college important? Is he going to be living with us? Are we going to need to combine families? Maybe if there's not enough jobs, and maybe we need to support other people. I don't know. And I'm going to get into that for a second. But I felt that I had to stand up as a dad, stand up as a leader in my community, stand up as a husband, stand up as a person and a friend to people that I see that are in businesses or in jobs that I know are going to get eliminated. I have a bunch of people in the warehouse and the production areas and stuff like that, robots and things of that nature. What are you going to do to change your hustle? What are you going to change what are you going to change? And it's not about the same thing, right? Oh, this is what I've done to get here to get this. It's how you're setting yourself apart from the competition. Right. And it's how you're being resourceful. I want to emphasize this as well. Resourcefulness. There is an excellent book out there by an author, Marie Forleo. It's called Everything is Figure Outable. One of the greatest books out there. And it talks about how we often get things in our life and I don't know how I would get over that. I don't know how I would figure that out. But we figure it out. Right. When you think about your life, where have there been moments in your life you didn't know what you were going to do? But you figured it the fuck out. You took that imperfect action and you found a solution and you worked your way through it and you got through it and you got stronger. And then you've got to other things in your life like, wow, I've accomplished that. Like for me, I overcame being homeless and trying to kill myself and having a mother with psychotic issues and all these different things. And I was able to, so it's like, I can do that. So what can I do next? And it's not about being tired or not wanting to do it or not being fair and all these different things. Life is life. And it is definitely not fucking fair, but it is what it is. So we get to have that choice to be a victim or a victor. We get a choice to be reactive or proactive. And again, like what is going on? So here's what I'm going to talk about. The old world is not coming back. I've already been talking for 20 minutes. That's how passionate I am about this. I'm going to grab a couple of your comments and then we're going to get into the crux of what I want to share with you. We've got Andrew saying, here he goes. I've heard a lot about the past, my mom and grandma lived to 101 and 100. Wow. So they gave me a history of lessons and there's going to be a new history to happen. Embrace it. Yeah, exactly. Patricia in the house. What's up, Patricia? Thank you so much. Jacqueline Rose. We need to learn from each other without judging. 100%. I just posted the other day. I thought I was done with the bullshit, but I guess I'm even more done with it or something like that. And that's just for me. That's just for me looking at my life and asking myself, where are areas that I can surrender? And of course, like I said before, I want to be that impartial person. I don't want to offend Trump supporters. I don't want to offend non-Trump supporters or Republicans or Democrats. And I've had people tell me like, Chris, don't go that route. Don't pick a side. Don't try to be, and I can, and I might, who knows, but I'm trying to do it to be impartial because we're all in this together and without being hurtful, hateful, judgmental, and all those things that I could be like everybody else. I'm trying to set the example to say, hey, listen, let me understand you. And just because you believe that way doesn't mean I hate you or think you're stupid. I think there's some challenges there, but I think this is all a wake-up call for all of us, wherever we're at. This is a wake-up call. So I want to make sure I'm getting your comments. Jacqueline says here, the way the world's getting, we need to fix what is broken, make this world a better place for kids. I want a better world for them. Yeah. I mean, really, it is all about that. So the world isn't coming back. The normalcy of everything is not coming back. So what you can do is, again, be here today. Be here today. The yesterday, last week, last month, all those different things. So many people hang on to that shit. But right now it's today. And so what you can do is you can sit there and say, where's one area I could be more adaptable? Where's one area that I could be more adaptable? What's one area that I could be more proactive in? And I will tell you this, one of the biggest things we need to take care of is our health, our mental health, our physical health, our spiritual health. Because if we're not good, then how can we be good for everybody else? And like, I need to have a conversation with my wife and be like, okay, she's frustrated and opinionated and bless her. And I love her to pieces, but what kind of environment are we setting up? Are we setting up an environment unknowingly with our just, oh, this and that, this and that, this and that, this and that. Oh, he's too young. He's not going to understand it. But then he's growing up in this hostile environment, not hostile, but like negative and frustrating and opinionated. And he's developing opinions just based on what we're saying instead of what his individual beliefs are. And so I need to have a conversation with her to say, hey, listen, let's not set that up for him. Let's let him make those decisions for himself. So we do need to have tough conversations in our own homes. Right. And again, the thing you've heard me talk about here on the show a lot is accountability. Be accountable to yourself. And I hear a lot of people saying the government should do this and the city needs to do this and the schools need to do this and the churches should be able to do this and the police should do this. It's up to us. It's up to us. It's up to us and our families and our communities and our friends. I was thinking today, because there's so many different ways all of this can go. All of this, I mean, just one aspect of this, not even including AI. Think about all the electric stuff that is out there and that is coming out right now. Electric cars, electric robots, I don't know where you live, but here in Southern California, we have a lot of rolling blackouts when there's fires and when there's storms, The grid is pushed. We can't handle it. Here's a thought. How are we going to handle all this extra weight on our electrical infrastructure? Of course, we have solar and there's all sorts of different things. There's renewable energies. That's a big thing that's coming up right now. But also, here's a question to ask yourself, and it's freaky and it's scary. You know, I know people that have been through hurricanes. Like, what would you do if you didn't have power for 3 weeks? What would you do if the grocery was shut down? The grocery store was shut down for a month. What would you do if you could not get your medications for weeks? And I just dealt that with myself today. I called my pharmacy and they were on back order. They said, oh, we've been back order on that medication for a week and a half. I'm like, great. I get to go through withdrawals. Fortunately, we were able to find some and they took care of me because I have a great relationship with them. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. But also, I just want to stress this. Like, a lot of people are frustrated and everything. And I'm like, how are you taking care of yourself? Like, oh, I'm getting terrible sleep. I'm not eating well. I'm stressed out. I'm not talking about things. You can't expect to get through what we're going to go through, what we're going through, or what you might go through in your own personal life, irrespective of everything else, unless you take care of this. Now I am learning this. I've taken care of my body and my mind all my life, but still age will creep in. And maybe little things you were doing before are all going to build up. Maybe you didn't eat so great and you haven't had any blood pressure issues, but now you're going to start having blood pressure issues. Then you start taking blood pressure medication. Then you start taking cholesterol medication. Then you're like, oh shit. And then you're eating and all of a sudden your like blood sugar's up and your A1C's up. And then all of a sudden you're diabetic. Then you're diabetic 2 and you're diabetic 1. And then you've got neuropathy and you got all these, and you're taking all these medications. Then something happens. You can't get to your medications. How are you going to survive? And that is a possible reality. Your medication. I've heard ADHD drugs have been on back order. I've heard mental health issue drugs have been on. You cannot expect and have a guarantee that all of this is going to still continue to work. So what can you do? How can you take responsibility? If you had to go without your medication, what would you do? Have you talked to your doctor? Like, if I ran out of this medication, what would you expect me to do? Or what are some natural paths? What's some alternatives? Like for me, I know that if I can get my pain medication, I know that I can use something called kratom, which is actually helps with detox symptoms. So I have looked into things that I could possibly do. So when you think about this, you got to, number one, lock in your family foundation. Like if you no longer got Social Security, where would you go and what would you do? Because this current administration, I won't say names, the current administration, I just saw a headline today that said people who are on low income assistance through SSI, Social Security Supplemental Insurance, that the administration is going through and they're going to cancel a bunch of people. And they've already canceled a bunch of people. And I know people that have been on Medicare that have had all sorts of things that are happening, and you may not be affected by it, but there are a lot of people right now who are losing shit left, right, and center. And they're trying to figure out how to keep up. They're trying to figure out how to survive. So even if this message is getting to you and you're in a good spot and you're like, oh, that's not going to bug me. And please consider helping however you can. I just saw a post on Facebook that said a local food shelter was low on dog food. So they give food to families, but they also give animal food to families to help feed their animals so they don't just let them out. And I belong to a bunch of organizations on Facebook and whatnot, and I see what's happening. People are dumping their animals because they say they can't afford them. I would get fucking 3 jobs and take care of my responsibilities before I dumped an animal out on the street. Let's be fucking clear about that. So anybody who does that shit, more or less, not a lot of time in my book. Like, you got to take care of your responsibilities, especially if you put your animal to sleep. You should be in the room with them, motherfuckers. I know that some people, I can't handle to be in the room. I can't watch that. Well, your fucking animal's been here for their entire life for you, so you should be there. So don't get me started. But you got to lock in your family foundation. Make health non-negotiable. And you've maybe heard me talk about it, the 5: hydration, nutrition, sleep, exercise, and vitamin D. You got to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. You guys have heard me say this. You're fucking not doing it. You're not intelligent, right? Water. You got to drink. I don't like water, Crystal. Put something fucking in it. Put lemon in it. I put Propel in my water. So I get lots of water. I track my sleep. I take a vitamin D supplement. I work out every day, even if I'm in pain. Like, even if you're in pain, how much can you walk? Can you go up the stairs? Can you get a 5-pound bag of sugar and lift it? Can you get your hand strength? Make sure your hand strength stays strong. As you're getting older, you got to be prepared no matter where it is in your life. This world is changing. And so you have to take care of this mentally, physically, and spiritually. If you're tolerating people in your life that are soul sappers, soul suckers, whatever it is, that you need to protect yourself, and you need to sit there and need to get around people who are forward thinking and not going, oh my God, the world's on fire and this sucks and that person sucks and this shit and this shit and that shit and everybody blah, 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 blah. I'm so miserable and I don't know what to do and blah, 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 blah. I hear it all the fucking time. It drives me crazy. I overhear people's conversations and I'm like, wow. And no, it's not easy. God, Chris, it's going to be hard. I fucking have a tattoo that says, what doesn't kill me only makes you stronger. What doesn't kill me only makes me stronger. The other side, it says you're only limited by the parameters of your own mind. I tattooed it on my body, guys, in 2016. What doesn't kill me only makes me stronger, because I wanted to give up. I felt overwhelmed. I felt stressed. I felt out of control. But guess what? You start with one thing. I'm gonna start drinking more water. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to increase my water to the point where I'm drinking half my weight in body ounces of water. Or just, if you're not even drinking any water, just, okay, I'm going to drink 4 glasses of water in a day. Can you do that? Is that realistic? Yes. I don't like to pee that much. Your body needs that. Can I eat a little bit better? Things are affordable. They're more affordable now than ever been. Can I eat a little bit better? Can I go online and realize that I'm in pain. So what are inflammatory foods and how can I stop eating them? I have people all the time like, well, I didn't know that was inflammatory. Did you know that tomatoes for certain people are inflammatory foods? Vegetables for some people are not good. So you think you're doing something right? I got friends that are carnivores. They just eat carnivore. They feel fucking amazing. You got to try different shit. Getting out and getting exercise, pushing yourself mentally to learn new things. Not just sitting there watching Netflix and fucking scrolling, watching cat videos and all that shit. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to learn something today, so maybe I can post it and help somebody else. If we're all getting together and we're helping one another and we're not judging and pointing fingers and fucking creating a civil war in the United States, we should be helping each other out and listening and understanding. And here's something that I'm going to do in my own community. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do it, but I have a neighborhood, obviously, and it's like a little section. And I thought in my brain, I'm going to go around to each one of the houses and I'm going to leave a note and say, hey, listen, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a life coach. I'm a positive dude. If you're struggling, if you're having problems, you're having issues, just give me a call, send me an email. I'll be glad to help you. And if everybody in this little area, I'm guessing there's probably 75, 100 houses in this little group that we got going in. If everybody did that and said, hey, I do this and I do this. And if you need a meal, if you need daycare, if you're struggling to a doctor's appointment, if you've lost your job, the communities are going to be super important. The family is going to be super important. Like, get with your family and say, hey, listen, if my Social Security got canceled tomorrow, could I come live with you? Don't wait until, oh shit, what am I going to do? But don't also be, the sky is falling either. But just sit there and think, okay, if my Social Security, if my income, if my source of being able to buy food got stopped, How would I buy food? How would I survive? Who would I lean on? Do I have friends that perhaps if we had to, we can move in together? I have a 5-bedroom house. I'm thinking in my brain, if my family in Chicago loses their job and has all sorts of things and loses their house, could we all live together? Would it be comfortable? Would it, all these different, no. But is it a solution? Is it something we can talk about? If something happens to us, my wife loses her job, where can we go? My mother-in-law is in an assisted living facility. I've already thought, okay, we could bring her here, take care of her. She saves that money. It helps us out. We did that during COVID. I'm urging you to have those conversations, guys. What if I can't get my medicine? What if my health changes tomorrow? Like right now, you may be super healthy and everything's good. People have strokes. What if I had a stroke tomorrow and couldn't go to my job anymore? What would we do? What will we do? And you have those conversations and you feel, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Could I get an Amazon side hustle? And that's leads me to another thing. You have gifts, ladies and gentlemen. Consider using your gifts. My wife has created a new gift for herself. She makes amazing sourdough bread. She's just created a new sourdough bread based on one of her customers wanted. My wife has a full-time job in sales and all sorts of things, but she decided to start making bread, and now she starts to sell bread. So if something happened, could we start a bread baking business? Has she developed some people in her pipeline? She's got 13 people. Okay. If something happened, could we start a marketing program to say, okay, those 13 people, can they reach out to somebody? Maybe those people don't have money either, but maybe they know people who have money. Again, it's about being resourceful. Again, it's about taking responsibility and ownership. And here's the thing. I will share this with you. I used to be an off-road dude, going out to the desert and all sorts of stuff. And we learned a simple lesson. If we brought the parts that we might need, we wouldn't need them. But if we didn't bring a starter, if we didn't bring an alternator, if we didn't bring another CV boot, guess what? We would break down and be like, fuck, does anybody have a starter? Nope, nobody brought a starter. So here's the thing. When you make these plans and you think about this and you get yourself into that best shape, if nothing happens, then you're all the better for it. But I can promise you this, attention is the commodity right now. And when you think about it, you've got friends that are in jobs that are going to get eliminated. So what would you do? How could you do it? Think about future-proof yourself. And so I went into chat and I talked about what would you, if you were my best friend, what information, what things would you tell me to do to help my son prepare for the future? And so chat spit out a bunch of stuff. I have it on here. And it talked about teach him curiosity over fear, expose him to tech, expose him to healthy ways to balance out his creativity and problem solving and people skills, right? So whether it's taking over AI and robots, connection. And this is the other I want to make very clear. Connection is still going to be so massively important. Your ability to connect, your ability to communicate, your ability to be real and authentic. Right now, I don't remember the statistic. I didn't put it down here, but it's something like 60% of people don't believe what they see online anymore. So trust is eroding, right? Faith and trust. So what are we going to do? How are we going to combat that? You got to strengthen your safety net, right? You got to think about, okay, where can I cut costs? My wife was talking about yesterday, we want to go on a vacation next year. We went to Italy in 2022. We haven't really gone on vacations. We go camping and stuff like that, which is, trust us, we're blessed and we appreciate that. But she was talking about, oh, do you want to go to Mexico? We want to do this. We want to do that. We got our 20th anniversary coming up. We both got, I'm going to be 60 in 4 years. She's going to be 50 in 4 years. So we're talking about, oh, what do you want to do? And I told her, I don't know, with everything that's going on right now, I think, and then I started having that conversation in my brain. Okay, put the money in the bank, but is the bank the safe place? And then I Googled what do you do if you have your 401k and, money market investments? And it talked about, I think I wrote it down here somewhere, that it talked about the fact that because of all the job losses, industries are going to collapse in those portfolios that you have money invested in. I have a 401k that I don't invest in anymore, but it still earns money or it goes up and down. And that is my retirement fund. Right? So if that 401k went away, what would I do? But fortunately, I've been smart. And ever since 2000, I've been paying off my first house. And people have told me to sell that house. And I could have quintupled my money. But no, I've got $60,000 left to pay on it. And then once I own that, I've got a guaranteed place to stay for the most part. I got to still pay property taxes and insurance and things of that nature. So you think, oh, I paid off my house, but so I'll be fine. No, you still got property taxes, you still got electricity, you still got gas, you still got water, you still got repairs, you still got all these things. So even if you own your own home and you own it outright, are you set? And again, I don't want to scare you to a point of being paralyzed, but I also want to create enough leverage where you go, fuck, I can't ignore it anymore. I can't ignore it anymore. I want to see what's going on in the comments here. I appreciate you guys coming in here. I'm sure this is a lot of information, but I feel that I owe it to you guys, and we owe it to ourselves. And again, I'm having this conversation with myself in my head because I don't want to think about it. It's scary. It's scary. But at the same time, if the new normal is that my son lives with us until he's 30, whatever it might be, maybe he takes over the house and he takes care of us. And maybe that's the new model where, kids aren't kicking their parents out and putting them in old folks' homes. And, I don't know, but we need to create that now. So here's what I want to do. I want to give you some questions. I want to give you some questions to consider in your world, because I can only have this conversation for 45 minutes and it's not enough. It's not enough, but I feel what I'm going to continue doing, and I don't feel I'm going to continue doing this. Again, I asked chat, okay, based on what I'm doing here, and I worked with it all day long. So I kept feeding it information. I kept asking it questions. I'm like, okay, based on what you said here, what do you think about that? How can you take all that information and consolidate it into 5 points that if you had an 8-year-old kid that you would teach your kid? So again, harnessing that. And just because it's AI doesn't mean it's correct, but it gave me some pretty fucking great stuff in a really short amount of time, like that. So we can get the information and then we can sit there and go, oh, I don't agree with it. I don't like it. Well, maybe I'll look at more information. No, start taking action. Don't wait for someday. Oh, I'm going to do it this and da, da, da. I've lost 20 pounds this year. And I made these goals at the beginning of the year, clearing clutter, losing weight, doing all sorts of things. And here it is September, and I've accomplished most of them. And now I'm sitting there looking, okay, between September and December, what are some stretch goals that I can create for myself? So when I get to December, I'm so jazzed about the limitations that I thought I had that I overcame, the excuses even I have, there's no excuses coach, to be able to sit there and say, you know what, how can I look at that differently? And I'm looking at 3 dry erase boards right now. I'm looking at a whole desk of information and things I've written down. So I'm taking action. Despite the fear, despite the concern, despite the frustration, and it's not right, and all those different things that I still believe because I'm just like you, but we can take action. So here's some questions that I want you to consider. And again, you can go back and repeat this and listen to this. So here's a good one. And I thought about this for myself. If I keep living the way I was going to get some of your fucking your comments. Sorry about that. Andrew says, surround yourself with good friends, 100%. Hey, we can't deal without withdrawal from Christopher. Stock up on your meds. Yeah, it is what it is. And I've just realized I've gone without them before and it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Like I'll tell you guys this. I take Ambien and I just started taking it about a year ago. And my doctor fucked up and thought they called in the prescription and they didn't, and I didn't check on it. And so I had to go without it for 5 days. Not a fun experience. I did not realize that has the impacts that it does. And I researched it before I took it, so I knew, but I guess I kind of forgot. Jacqueline says here, I stay away from emotional vampires. And that was another thing that I said in a roundabout way, but thank you for reminding me on that, Jacqueline, is emotional intelligence, right? Not our IQ, but our EQ, our emotional intelligence. And that's super important. That's super important. I see people who have emotional intelligence and who are very successful, and people that choose not to have that emotional intelligence and they're not successful and they're frustrated and they're gonna have a lot of challenges coming up. I see a lot of people who I've known for a long time who are set in their ways and their victim mindsets. And I truly feel for them. But I've also had the conversation with myself. I can't save the world, right? I'm going to be doing good to take care of myself and take care of my community and take care of you guys. I cannot save the world, and I'm not going to try to make myself save the world. So here's the question. If I keep living the way I am today, where will I be in 5 years? And do I even like that picture? So I will tell you this, I've been taking care of my health. I started doing this thing called functionhealth.com. I did blood tests. They took like 13, 14 vials of blood. They do 100 blood tests. I got the results back. I have one of my coaching clients who is taking all that data, and she is creating a plan for myself and also to communicate with my doctors about. Because when I got the results back, it said my biological age is 56, but it says my calendar age is 56, but my biological age is 59.8. So I was like, ooh, I'm pretty healthy, and like 85 of my numbers are great, but 13 of them are out of range. And okay, we can't strive for perfection, all those different things. But in 5 years, will that deficit grow if I don't change things? 2 years ago, I quit drinking hard alcohol. And for you guys who know me, Jack Daniels, baby, body by Jack. But I quit drinking hard alcohol. I barely have any beer anymore. Didn't want to do that to my system. Didn't want to continue to punish my liver, even though all my numbers were fine. The straw that broke the camel's back. Straw didn't break the camel's back. Fucking 30 years of treating yourself like shit broke your back. Right? And we can start and we can change today. Like for me, pain has been a chronic situation for me since at least 2006. So I think about, okay, I want to be pain-free. I want to be pain-free. I've been working towards this, but now I've just identified that pain is a part of life. And I can either be pissed off and frustrated that I've done all these things and I still have pain and there's hereditary factors, or I can sit there and say, you know what, my pain compared to other people, and I've actually researched this, my pain compared to other people is pretty negligible. For me, it's a lot and it sucks and it's overwhelming and all these different things. I make it personal. But when I look at the grand scheme of things, I'm in pretty good shape. So again, that perspective to find gratefulness and gratitude for the things that we think are scarce in life, perhaps just might be abundant. I'm grateful so much for my life. And I used to want all these cars and different places to live and all this different stuff. And now it's kind of a joke. I mean, not a joke, but I just want to keep what I got. I want to keep my health. I want to keep my family. I want to keep my rituals and my lifestyle. Nothing extravagant or anything by that means, but it's pretty damn awesome. And when I stop striving and wanting everything else, and I start looking around and going, wow, I got a lot of shit here that I don't use. I have a lot of stuff I take for granted. So for you, if I keep living the way I am today, where will I be in 5 years? So if you're unhappy right now and you're not doing anything to change it, you're going to be more unhappy. If you're not healthy now, you're going to be more unhealthy. If you're in a relationship that sucks, you're going to be in a relationship that might be over, right? Where will you be in 5 years? And again, with the statistics, you guys can go do this research for yourself. You can pick any statistic, like, okay, what's going to be going on? What's going to be going on? Right? What's up, Todd? He goes, this is the spot, man. Yeah, this has been a very direct conversation. Todd also says, this is something I need right now. Stressed, sick, and depressed lately. I feel you, dude. I feel you. But again, what can we do? Like, I could give you guys anybody listening to this, I have all these, I'm not going to move my camera, but I have all these books up here. Do It, Life 101, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Awaken the Giant Within, The Tribe of Mentors, Letting Go, David Goggins, all these books that I have absorbed in my life, and then I continue to absorb content and continue to learn every single day, whether I'm reading it or watching it or listening to it or whatever it is. We have to take that responsibility for ourselves. If you're frustrated and depressed and lonely and all those different things, go seek out assistance. Go seek out help. Go get in a group. Oh, I don't like groups. I'm embarrassed. Fuck all that shit. Guys, fuck it. You need to take responsibility. You need to go through that growth process. You can't want it to be some other way and not do the work. And I can't, again, listening to it for myself, normal is no longer. Normal is no longer. And again, if you're smart and you're proactive and you get your hustle and you get your things going, you'll be on the leading edge of it. There's so many people that could be on the playing field for being an entrepreneur right now is the barrier to entry is so low. Like I have a podcast that is in 30 plus countries. It's not the Joe Rogan experience, which is funny because the Joe Rogan experience just looked me up on LinkedIn today, which I took a picture of it. I was like, oh, maybe I might be on Joe Rogan show. Who knows? But again, like for you, Todd, the Todds of the world, the me's of the world, If I just take every single day and I start my day and I say what I'm grateful for, right? And I set the intention, despite anything that's going on in my world or the things today, I'm going to choose to be happy. I'm going to choose to be grateful. I'm going to choose to be a part of the solution. I'm going to choose to take 15 minutes and read some uplifting information before I get my day started. I'm going to listen to a playlist that I've created on my Spotify or YouTube, whatever it might be. I'm going to take that responsibility. I'm going to start my day, and then I'm going to end my day. What am I proud of today? What risks did I take? What chances did I take? How did I push myself? What was my stretch goal today? How did I secure a little piece of my future while also living in the moments right now? Oh, yeah, we've got LinkedIn right here. I can't pronounce your name. I apologize, but it says, surely it's about taking action, Christopher Rausch. Yes. I wouldn't be sitting here today as a former homeless 7th grade dropout who lived in the station wagon with all these things in my life. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without taking that imperfect action. How do I go back to school? How do I get my GED? I didn't know any of that. I had to pick up a phone and call embarrassingly to high schools. Hi, do you have a GED program? I didn't even know what it was. No. Do you know anybody who does? Yeah. Wintersburg High School in Huntington Beach. Hi, Wintersburg. I don't know what to do, but I dropped out in the 7th grade and I'm trying to get my GED, I guess. Oh yeah, we have that program. Come on down and we'll have a talk with you. Didn't know what to do. Got down there, fill out a bunch of paperwork, had to get my one step at a time. What's the one step that I can take that by which doing so will make my life a little bit better? What's the one conversation that I can have with someone that might give me some help? How can I create a community among people that are in my apartment building, in my condo facility, in my neighborhood? How can we all help one another? How can we do that? I want to get back to these questions as well, but thank you so much, guys. And please share this out if you are getting value out of this, which I know you will. We might go a little bit over time. I'm actually going to go over time because there's definitely aspects of this conversation that I want to get across to you guys. Yeah, Andrew says, give yourself time and a break. Yeah, along those lines, Todd says, amen to that. Along those lines, here's one of my golden nuggets for life. And I've been broke. I've had piece of shit cars. I've been on public transportation. I have not paid my bills. I have been evicted. I've had my lights shut off. I've had no food. I've had no gas. I've had all sorts of things. People look at me like now, like, oh God, Chris, you live in. I've experienced it all. I used to have to push my car weekly to a gas station. Right. I was known on a first name basis because I bought used tires so much that this used tire place here in Southern California knew me, and they would set tires aside for me that I could get for $20. So I would buy a $20 tire and drive it for 3 months and then go buy another $20 tire for another. And I've done those things, guys. I've eaten macaroni and cheese and fucking bean and cheese burritos for 25 cents. I've done it all. Right. But again, when we think about this, what's the one fear that is stopping me? What's the one fear that's controlling me? And what would my life look like if I no longer had that fear? How would my life look if I no longer gave that fear power? I'm afraid of looking bad. What if I no longer was afraid of looking bad? Because I could tell you this, guys, I was afraid of looking bad in front of people. I don't know who those fucking people are anymore. I'm no longer connected to them. But if I wasn't afraid of being in front of those people and doing those things at that time, guess what? My confidence would have been better. But I was afraid of what those people thought. I have no connection to them anymore. The people in your life you're afraid of, if they're not there to support you and uplift you and ask you tough questions, those are not your people. Let them go. Let them go. I can't tell you how many times in my coaching profession, being a coach for over 20 something years, 30 years, I don't know. Actually, it might be 30 years now. How many people I've had to help them let go. The people you're tolerating, again, like I think Jacqueline said before, the energy vampires. You keep tolerating all that shit, guess what? You're going to be weighed down. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be stressed out. But you start letting go of the things that you can't control and the people that drain you, and you start feeling better, and you start, focusing on drinking your water, and you get a little bit better sleep, and you have a little bit better. It's not overnight, and it's not perfect, and it's not easy. But 12 months from now, where could I be in 6 months? Where can I be in 3 months? Where can I be in 9 months? Right? It's September. Where can I be in December? And how can I set myself up for 2026 to fucking be the best year of my life, no matter what else is going on out there? And there's people out there who hire me as a coach to make sure that they get there. So how am I how am I putting myself to the next future is continuing to connect with you guys, to continuing to serve my customers, to continue getting that word of mouth recommendation that when the Marianas and the Nancys and the Steves and the Ralphs and all those different people that I coach, when they realize the difference in their life, they sit there and they go, hey, Stacy, you need to fucking talk to Chris. You need to check out the Raw Unscripted show and check out a couple episodes. And I promise you, when you get done with that guy, your life's going to be different. You're not going to have any excuses, right? Todd says, yes, sir. Right? I've had conversations with Todd. Actually, Todd was here on the show and I coached him live. If you guys want that show, I did live coaching with Todd. Do you remember what we talked about, Todd? Todd says, you're a blessing, bro. So go back and watch that show again, Todd, and remind yourself what you said and what you're about. So times are tough and challenging right now, but when you get 5 years from now, think about this, guys. 5 years from now, it's going to come, hopefully, for all of us in 5 years. Like I thought about it, I've been doing the show for 6.5 years. When I still remember the day I started, I was fucking nervous and didn't know if anybody was going to listen to me. I was just preparing to go into back surgery in 2019. But the 6 years have gone by, and I had not started, I wouldn't be in 30 plus countries. And it started with one listener, and then I got two, and the two told three, and the three told four, and the four told five, and boom, 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 into the thousands. And then the Joe Rogan Experience is looking at me today. Let me get you some more questions, because questions absolutely have the power to change things for yourself. Again, so if I keep living today, where will I be in 5 years? And then put yourself in 5 years and look back on this situation and go, man, I remember back in September of 2025, I was at my lowest. It was in a tough situation. I was faced with uncertainty, but I fucking pulled my bootstraps up and I got busy and I got people in my life. And I started going to networking events. I started joining online groups. I started doing anything I possibly could do to set myself apart from the competition. I started side hustles. I started Amazon delivery. I started making bread. I started making lemonade. I started whatever you might do. I know people have made successful businesses out of their houses that put it on Yelp, and they do it, right? What is the story for you? How are you going to become resourceful? Here's another question for you. Who do I blame for where I'm at, and how much longer am I willing to give them that power? Let me repeat that. Who do I blame for where I am at, and how much longer am I willing to give them the power? I blame my sister. I blame my mom. I blame my dad. I blame my father. I blame my school. I blame my pastor. I blame my uncle. I blame my best friend. I blame my neighborhood I grew up in. I blame my religion. You guys realize when you blame, it's my parents' fault. Guess what you do? You take all your power away. Not my fault. Not my fault. I was, and I'm not being a dick, but I hear it quite a bit. I was born in an abusive household. I was born with that. Okay. I get it. That was your story. That was your story. It's no longer your story. You're no longer living in your parents' house. You're choosing to relive that over and over and over and over and over again. Why don't you just tell yourself to shut the fuck up? Like, no, that's not my story. My parents did the best they could with what they had at that point. Now I'm choosing to be a victim. Now I'm choosing to have that story define my life. And how idiotic is that? I'm no longer going to blame my job for why I'm not getting promoted. Maybe it's because I'm not doing anything fucking special. Or maybe I'm just in the wrong job. Maybe I've been busting my ass and doing things above and beyond, hoping, wishing, and praying to get recognized, when really the writing is on the wall that I should change careers. And that's something that I experienced. I thought I was all that in a bag of chips for the company that I worked for. In 2019, I walked in, and at 6:33 in the morning, they said, bye. After 26 years, they said, bye. I said, can I say goodbye to my staff? And they said, no. So 26 years, I was treated like a criminal. I got my few things out of my office, and then I had to come back on a weekend and empty it out because I'd been there for 20 years. So yeah, right? You think that you got it in with wherever you got it? No, right? So Jacqueline says, I blame no one's self. No one but myself. I take 100% ownership. Yeah. Again, I wish I could pronounce your name. Eni Osung. Yeah. I apologize. I wish I could understand how to say your name correctly, because I really am passionate about saying people's names right. But thank you for joining us. Yeah, it's on me, right? It is. We're 100% responsibility. Todd says, wow, that's heavy. Yeah, Jacqueline says, where do you see yourself in 5 years, Chris? I said, that's a great question. In 5 years, I definitely see my memoir out. You guys know I've been talking about that. That's a whole nother psychological aspect, but I believe it's going to be out in 2026. You guys can go to itsjustyoumandmekid.com, my memoir about my life. You think I've been through some shit. You guys don't even know half of it. It's all in the book. 5 years. Let's see. 5 years. Jackson will be 13. 5 years. I'll be 61. I see myself healthier. I see not only my memoir out, I see another book out that I've already got written, probably 3/4 of it. I see my podcast in, let's see, 5 years. We're in 30 countries. I see myself in 100 countries in 5 years. I see myself healthier and stronger and fitter than I am now at 56, and I'm pretty good shape. But there's a lot of room to grow. 5 years. I see myself enjoying music more. I've been playing guitar more. I've been practicing my singing more. I'm actually going to give up one of my habits on Monday, and I'm going to start focusing on my singing. So whether or not I publish it or anything else, but I've been passionate about music. Obviously, I look like a fucking rock star because I am. And so I started thinking, in 5 years, maybe I'll record an album. Maybe I'll do an album of cover songs of the most important songs in my life that changed my life. Like, Carry On Wayward Son, or Give Me the Beat Boys to Free My Soul. I Want to Get Lost in Your Rock and Roll and Drift Away, which is the tattoo I have right here. So 5 years, I could see myself growing and learning and having fun and being more peaceful. Perhaps, studying Buddhism. I've dabbled, but maybe going the Buddhist route and learning how to ingrain some of those deeper philosophies, maybe taking a Buddhism class, and finding that peace. So yeah, no, thank you. So let's get back to the questions. And I apologize for going long, but again, this is so super important. Put in the chit chats. What is one action that you're going to take or that you're currently taking to take responsibility and ownership for your life? Let me know what's one thing that you're going to change as a result of hearing this conversation. So again, we just got done. Who do I blame for where I'm at, and how much longer am I willing to give them that power? Here's the next question. What's the story I keep telling myself that keeps me safe and stuck? So what's the story I keep telling myself that keeps me safe and stuck? That's like we were talking about before. Oh, I'm not very good at math, or I've never been an entrepreneur, or I've never been a healthy eater, or I've never had. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. The information is everywhere. You can literally go into ChatGPT and type in all your past information. If you grew up in a life like this, what are the 3 things that you would do starting tomorrow? What's a 7-day plan for me to stop being negative? It's there. It's there for you. If you're listening to me, it's there. How do I stop being depressed? How do I eat healthier? How do I reduce inflammation? How do I have conversations with former family members I no longer talk to? Whatever it might be, the answer is there. The answer is there, right? Todd says here, he goes, write down my life list, bucket list, dreams, goals. Yeah, write it down. Be excited. Have shit on your calendar that you're excited about, because there is a lot of stuff that's overwhelming and you got to bust your ass and differentiate yourself. Yes, there's no question about that. But as I have learned, enjoy your moments. Again, I don't know if I'm going to have a heart attack tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to stroke tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be a fucking paraplegic tomorrow. So today I'm going to live. Today I'm going to run. Today I'm not going to have those excuses. Today I'm going to love, right? I know my dog is 11 years old. The day that rainbow comes for him, I'm going to be so distraught and so depressed. So what I've been doing now is, I normally don't take anything for granted or anyone for granted, but I give him so much love and attention. I get down on his level and I look him in the eyes and I'm like, Ozzy, I love you so much. I love you so much. His eyes are getting cloudy. So I have a fear he's going blind. So I want to get in front of him and I want to have him see me. So when he hears me, maybe when he is blind, he knows that I'm there for him. And so that's just something for me. Do I tell my son I love him? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we all do. But do I tell him specifically why I love him? Have you told people in your life why you love them? Here's something that I wasn't sure I was going to bring up, but I want to keep it real with you guys also. Here's something that's massively fucked up. We wait until people die to tell them how much we love them. Our friends, our coworkers. Did you know how much you meant to me? Did you know how inspirational you were to me? We're at a funeral. We're giving a eulogy. right? In past tense. Tell people now. Tell people that you love them. Tell them why you love them. I love you because of your sense of humor. I love you because you always call and check up on me. I love you because you go out and you give to animals in need. I love you because you're not a selfish person. I love you because you're funny. I love you because you find solutions. Like, tell people why you love them. Tell people why you like them, right? What stories are you telling yourself? Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. Again, you don't even have to have any money. You can go to Barnes & Noble and read the book, read a chapter every fucking day. Go take a water bottle with you, read a chapter every day, go to Barnes & Noble, go to a library. There's things called libraries and you can check out a book. Just imagine if you did this. I checked out a book once a week for the next fucking 3 weeks. The next, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months. I'm going to decide to learn a new skill. You can do it. Yes, you can. You can do it. Let's get back to some questions. So passionate about this. If normal is gone forever, how do I need to adapt just to survive, but to thrive? I think I made that pretty frequently clear. You have to be willing to do what you haven't done to get what you haven't got. Again, you have to be willing to do what you haven't done to get what you haven't got. You have to push yourself. You have to get outside of your comfort zone. Or you have to accept that you're going to get ran over and you might be homeless and living on the streets and hungry and die. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But I know that we have the power within ourselves to take that action every single day, regardless of what's going on in the news or society. Take that responsibility. Live every day, because when you go to sleep, you feel good about it. You feel good that you know that if something is coming, that you're strong enough to handle it. Man, I've read the books. I've been through the things. I don't want to go through. I think about my life and I think about in terms of tests, right? And I've been tested so much in my life. If you want something really inspiring, Todd and everybody else, watch The Hero's Journey, the Joseph Campbell story on YouTube. It's about 1 hour and 23 minutes. It's free. You guys can watch it. No commercials. The Hero's Journey. It talks about how we go through these just different trials and tribulations. And I know that even though I've been through a ton and I've learned all these lessons, I know that there's still another test that's going to come. And that's my demise. Will I get cancer? Will I get shot? Will I have a stroke? Will I be in a car accident? Will I fall down the stairs? Will I fall off? What will it be? Will I get AIDS? Will I get cancer? I have no idea. But I know I have to be mentally prepared now. How can I be mentally prepared now for that? I could be scared of dying, or I could be excited for what's next. Man, can you imagine if it really is all that in a bag of chips? And everybody who's had near-death experiences has said they never wanted to come back. I've heard one person that said they wanted to come back. I was just reading Jeremy Renner's book, the actor Jeremy Renner. He was ran over by a fucking 18-ton snowplow or whatever the hell it was. And he died. And he says, man, I didn't want to come back, not even for my daughter. So if the afterlife and the possibility for that, irrespective of what religious beliefs is, I choose to think, if it is really that fucking cool and I get to be an angel, or I get to still be here as energy for my kid and for my wife and for my friends, if I could be on the other side and impact even more people, how cool is that? And I don't know. And I choose to fill my head with that possibility, because to think, and I used to drive myself insane when I was a kid, I was afraid to go to sleep because I thought I would never wake up. And I thought, if I never wake up and I'm never here again, how scary is that? And I used to freak myself out, like under the age of 5, I think. I was afraid to go to sleep. And so for me now, I have that excitement. I have that awareness, like, yeah, it's going to suck and it's going to be the most devastating experience of my life. But on the other side of that, there's freedom. I won't be in pain anymore. And as weird as it is to say, if my time was to come tomorrow or 6 months from now or 3 months from now, like right now, I apparently have an ulcer in my esophagus. I don't know, whatever. Whole nother story. If I'm not here, and as crushing as that is, I still hold the belief in my mind that if that's what Jackson needs to experience, if that's what my wife needs to experience, if that's all what you need to experience, like, oh my God, Chris was advocating to live life and he died, and I could be inspired by him. Right? We got to live our moments, and we got to live our moments and take that responsibility. Yeah. Ouch. I'm getting real with you guys. I'm being real with you guys. Andrew says here, get busy living or get busy dying. Do what you want. Right? Yeah. You are either living or dying. You're either living or existing. And so many people are existing, and I see it all the time. People come to me like, hey, Chris, I want to be your coaching client. And I don't take everybody. If they are so sold on their victimness and they want me to convince them that they're not a victim, no, that's not my thing. I'm at a point now where I accept clients who are ready to change. I mean, they may have a lot of baggage and a lot of things that are going on, but yes, I'm ready to change. Yes, I'm ready to face that fear. Yes, I'm ready to get dirty. Yes, I'm ready to fucking do what it takes. Okay. I talked about this before, but again, this is a framed question. What am I tolerating in my life that I know deep down I need to cut? What am I tolerating in my life that I know I need to cut? Here's another question. If my kids or people I care about watched every decision I made, would I be proud of what they see? Again, we're talking about leverage. And I will tell you this. Like for me, here's what I do. If my son could hear what I was thinking right now, would I say, don't think that, the old adage, do as I say, not as I do. And so congruency, I was just talking with my group coaching clients last night about values and reminding them we have to identify what our values are. My value of congruency and not being a hypocrite is massive. So when I think about the negativity that goes in my head, because yes, ladies and gentlemen, whether you choose to believe it or not, I do have negativity. I do have bad moments. I'm not perfect. I'm not always hyper and positive. And everything that I've shared with you tonight, I do myself. But I thought, oh my God, if Jackson heard this, would I tell him, no, don't think that? Would I say, no, you can do this and and consider it this way? We often times will give the people that we love and cherish the most, we'll give them the great advice, but we won't give ourselves that. We won't give ourselves that nourishment. We won't give ourselves that opportunity. And I keep talking about my coaching clients because that's what I do. I asked one of my coaches worth, and she struggled to have self-worth for herself. And I said, okay, so you're trying to do all these things for everybody else, but you don't even value yourself. So if you listening to this, if you watching this, don't value yourself. If you think you're worthless, if you have all these now, I'm a piece of shit, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this and that. Stop. Chris, how do I stop? Google, ChatGPT. I have negative self-talk constantly. I have a horrible self-opinion of myself. What do you recommend I do? What books do you recommend I read? What podcasts do you recommend I listen to? What YouTube videos do you recommend I watch? Over the course, put together a 7-week plan for me to eliminate negative self-talk. I'm telling you, it's there. Whatever it is, type it in, right? So when you think about that, the kids I care, like for me, the hypocrisy. What advice would you give the person that you love the most? And then you take that advice for yourself, and then you lead by example. And maybe you share with your friend Julie or my son Jackson. And I say, hey, Jackson, I was thinking about this, but I stopped myself and I thought about this, and now I'm doing that. And maybe right now it won't make a bean of difference to him, but he sees this and he sees this and he sees this and he sees this and he sees that. And he goes, that's what dad did. And maybe he's 28 years old and he looks back on his life and goes, oh, and I know a lot of people. I'm older now. So I've seen people have kids. I've seen people have teenagers, and I've seen people have adults. And when they get to teenagers, they call them all sorts of names and they hate them and they go on drugs and they do all these different things. But I could share with you, most of the time they get to be about 25, 28 and they go, wow, I didn't realize what you guys are doing for me. I had one of my dear friends in my office when I was in corporate break down in tears because his 2 sons basically said he was lazy and he was this and judged him by his job, and he busted his ass to put them through football and all these things. He was crying in my office. Like, what did I go wrong, Chris? What did I do? And I said, you did the best you could, dude. And maybe those seeds that you planted aren't going to grow right now. Maybe right now they need to go out in their life and get their quote unquote water to grow their seeds. It's like, oh, Chris, I don't want to deal with it. I'm like, be patient, be loving, be open, say your piece. No matter, I think there were 18, 17 and 19, close in age. Say your piece, be there for them. And I've given this advice to many people. Actually, I just had another person I was helping him with his kid who was 16 years old, probably about 7 years ago. He just called me and said, hey, by the way, he wanted more advice. And I That's a whole other story. But everything that I said would happen happened. And even with my friend, his kids came back and apologized to his dad later on. And he was very disturbed. I'm like, it may take time. So even for me, it may take time for Jackson to go through his process. But maybe when he's 25, he looks back and goes, oh, maybe he deals with his adoption, maybe whatever it might be. And he learns those lessons. And it might be 7 years after I die. But the things I'm doing today, the seeds I'm planting today, the things I'm doing today to take care of myself, to hopefully avoid having cancer and all those different things, I'm not going to obsess over it, because I'm going to live my life. I'm going to have things on my calendar that I'm excited about. I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm not going to watch the news. I'm not going to bleed into all that, but I'm going to be knowledgeable, but I'm still going to live my life. I'm still going to sing loud music. I've been on a kick. You guys have seen my social media. I've been posting songs and getting excited, and my son's seeing the excitement of me. And it's just, there's so much fun. There's so much fun. You can create fun in your life. You can make sure you have relationships in your life, right? I want to give you a couple more questions. Then I want to close this out. We've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. And I want to make sure that however you're digesting this, if you need to go back and listen to it again, that you get this message. So here's another question for you. What's the one bold action I've been putting off that could change everything for me? What's one bold action that I've been putting off that could change everything for me? I've been wanting to start this business. I hear so many people, I've been wanting, just fucking do it. Figure it out. Take that step. Fail your way to success. I'm willing to do 100 things wrong. I'm willing to take 100 actions to get where I want to go. Because so many people are waiting for perfect. Oh, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be this. It's got to be this. I'm still doing planning. I'm still doing research. I had somebody who wanted to start their YouTube channel for 3 months. And I'm like, this is how you fucking start your YouTube channel. Click. Hi, my name is Christopher Rausch. I'm the No Excuses Coach, and I'm going to be bringing you content that's going to help you change your life forever. Thank you, and stay tuned. Your YouTube channel is fucking started. I want to start a podcast. I want to do this. I want to just do it. Just do it. Just do it. That's my message for right. So here's another question. If failure wasn't possible, what would I do differently starting today? We're afraid of failing. We're afraid of making mistakes. We're afraid of looking foolish. We're afraid of wanting those things. Oh, my friends are going to think it's so stupid. Again, like I've said before 1,000 times, who cares what other people think? Right? I wouldn't be the person I am today if I did not invest a lot of money that I did not have to join a mastermind. And I was in that mastermind for nearly 3 years. And I continue to invest in it. And I decided that if I could not make $1 more than what I invested doing what I love to do, then I had no business doing it. And I immediately wrote the check, and I never regretted it since. The coaches and the mentors and in the school and the courses and the books and the audiobooks and all the things that I've invested money in and time in have helped me become the person I am today. And God, I'm still a work in process. But if failure wasn't possible, what would I do differently starting today? And here's another question for you. What's more painful, staying the same and slowly dying inside, or taking a risk and finally living? I'm going to say that again because I saved this one for the last. What's more painful, staying the same and slowly dying inside, or taking a risk and finally living? We can't ignore what's going on in the world today, guys. And I am not bringing the doom. I'm bringing the reality. You, Todd, Jacqueline, everybody. And I know there's a bunch of people that watch on the East Coast because it's late right now. They watch in the morning when they're getting ready. Everybody, right? Jacqueline says here, she goes, I am tolerating too much bullshit from people. Why? Ask yourself why. Why am I tolerating that? Why are you tolerating that, Jacqueline? Because I always have. Because I'm the strong person. Because they don't have anybody else. No. I mean, to the point where I did not talk to my sister anymore. I didn't see her from the time I was 9 until she left the house when she was 16, when I was 9. I didn't see her until I was in my 30s. I reacclimated, I guess, if you will, for a year and realized she was a committed victim. And so after some tumultuous stuff, I said, you know what, Maria, I'm so glad I reconnected with you. And, you know, I didn't say this, but necessarily I was like, yeah, we share some blood. But if she wasn't my sister, would I want anything to do with her? No, 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 no. I wouldn't want to take her on as a coaching. I tried to help her, and she was fully committed on her victimness. Blame, it's mom's fault, but your mother's fault, not her mother, but your mother, all this different stuff. And I'm like, nope, not going to do it. People are like, oh, isn't that sad? You finally got connected with your sister. I'm like, no, she wasn't my sister. She was a person in my life who shared blood. I have sisters and I have brothers throughout this entire world in different continents and different religions and everything else. You guys are my brothers and my sisters. You have to earn those titles. Is a brother's going to be there at 2:00 in the morning to pick you up off a street corner when you're fucking drunk. I've got brothers. Rob White did that. He picked me up on a street corner at 2:00 in the morning because I had fucking Jaeger bombs, and apparently Jägermeister has some hallucinogenic properties for certain people, and it wasn't a good combination for me. Let's just put it that way. So why are you tolerating that bullshit? Jacqueline, stop. Stop. Right? When does it stop? Andrew says, Canada loves Riverside Talks by Christopher when it's real, raw, and who needs scripting? Thanks, bro. I hope someone will get to the tipping point and hear what needs to be hearing. We are blessed to feed and nurture ourselves and others. Yeah, Andrew, thank you. Thank you, bro. I am excited. I am so excited for the future. And like Jacqueline was saying, where are you going to be in 5 years? I don't say this out loud very often, but I want to meet all you guys. I would love to go on a Christopher Rausch world tour. Right? Come up to Canada. I have friends in Eastern Canada. I have friends in Western Canada. I have friends in Montreal. I have friends all over the world. I would love to get to a point where my notoriety is so popular that I'm on the Joe Rogan Experience. And then I start to do a world tour with my books, and I get to meet you guys. I get to hug you, and I get to get in your communities and like, hey, Chris, can you come to our community and talk and inspire people? Can you come to my job? Can you come to my communities? Whatever it might be. That's what I would love. I would love to be connected and see you guys in person. So yeah, that's where I want to be. So again, if you're interested, you guys can coach with me. I have a group coaching program. But at the very least, you could please share this episode out. Share it out. And not only share it out with some comments. Hey, I just watched this. It was tough, but I learned these 3 things from it. Share it out a few times. I'm going to be posting some snippets, which are short video clips in the next couple of days. Share those out. Let me know what it is that I can do to serve you here on the show. I think I said it before, but I asked chat, give me 7 ideas for upcoming shows based on this show and what we talked about and how I can continue to provide value for people who are watching. So you could take this as a jumping off point, and then we could come back here and continue to learn and grow together and love one another and love each other and take that out to our families and our communities and our social media. We don't need divisiveness, guys. We don't need you're this and I'm that. We need, hey, you're different than me. Let me understand you. Jacqueline says, I always had a fear of being misunderstood. So you can ask yourself now, and thank you for sharing that. Why did I have that fear? And I totally understand you. Probably one of the biggest things in my life, if I had a gripe, is I'm often misunderstood. I mean, not so much now as I was before, but a large majority of my life, I was misunderstood by the way I looked, by the way I talked. You know, people wouldn't give me an opportunity. I had long hair, like, oh, he's a long hair. Like, don't judge a book by its cover, motherfucker. I'm pretty smart. And then people find out I have a master's degree and like, oh, like, I didn't think somebody who looked like you could have a master's. I've been misunderstood. But if you feel like you're misunderstood, then ask the person that you're talking to and saying, hey, am I being clear? I don't feel like I'm being clear. Are you understanding what it is I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. Why don't you repeat back to me what you understood from me? Right. We can have, I've talked about, I just used to do coaching and training seminars on communication. We have to have an active role in it, guys. Talk to people, talk to the ones you love. Am I being clear in my messages? Am I being misunderstood? If you could give me one piece of feedback that would make our relationship stronger, what would that be? I've done a whole show on expectations. Like, I sat down with my wife one time and I said, what are your expectations for me? She gave me 8. Hold up 8 fingers. She gave me 8. And guess what? Over the next 6 months, I worked on them, and then I took her out to dinner again. I said, hey, 6 months ago, I asked you what your expectations were. You gave me these 8. How am I doing? And I thought I was doing pretty good. And I found out I wasn't doing good on one of them where I thought I was. And I immediately got defensive in my brain and started defending myself. And then I said, you know what? What could I have done differently? Again, taking the ownership for myself, taking the responsibility for myself. What could I have done differently? Instead of being a victim, instead of being pissed off, instead of being, what else do you want from me, woman? Listen, ask. I wish I could pronounce your name. I apologize. I'm going to reach out to you on LinkedIn so you can phonetically tell me your name. What's worse than being a living dead? Yeah. And there's so many people that are doing it right now. Todd says here, that's really sad. Geez. He says, yeah, bro, Van City and with Christopher and sushi. Yeah. I don't do sushi, but so there you have it. I'm going to end right there because again, I could keep talking about this. So the question is, what are you going to do? Put in the comments. What's one action that you're going to take? And I'm going to end the show, but I'm going to go back and look at the comments. So I see Jacqueline, I see Andrew, I see Enai, I hope Osung. So thank you for being here. Todd, everybody who's watching, just put in there. Like make a commitment, make a proclamation. I am no longer going to tolerate bullshit in my life. I'm no longer going to be afraid of being misunderstood. I'm no longer going to worry about starting that business because right now you need to build your confidence. You need to build that resiliency muscle. And I can't do that for you. All I can do is this. And so I highly encourage you to go back and listen to this again. And I highly encourage you to make a game out of it. Make it something like, how can I overcome one thing? How can I, at the end of the year, be proud of one thing that I started to do in September? So I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being here, for conversing with me. I love doing the show live. People ask me all the time, why don't you just, record 4 episodes and not have to deal with it? Because I like doing it live. I want to connect with you guys. I want to serve you guys. I want to know that when I get done with this and I go spend time with my family, I can look back and think, man, I served Todd. I served Jacqueline. I served whoever's going to be listening to this again in the 33 countries. Again, thank you, China. Thank you, Hong Kong. Thank you, everybody. Share this episode out. I'll be back here again next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I haven't been doing guests, but I got some guests that I'm lining up. And let's just say it's pretty exciting. So thank you. Go out there and be brilliant. Love one another and love yourself.